Leo, my bright, magnetic, fire-hearted soul, a divine payout is on its way to you. And between October 6th and 8th, it won't just be financial, it will be emotional, spiritual, and personal. You didn't find this video by accident. Something real is shifting in your world, and deep down, you can feel it, can't you? Maybe it's a tingling in your gut, a repeating number you keep seeing, or a heaviness that suddenly started to lift. Whatever it is, you're here. And that means the message is already moving through you. I need you to hear this clearly: you're not behind, and you're not late. In fact, you're right on time. You've been holding it together for so long, through setbacks no one else saw, through silent doubts, and through moments when it felt like the universe forgot your name. But it didn't. It's been tracking every single step, every quiet act of faith, every time you chose hope over giving up. And now, finally, something is unlocking. This isn't some vague motivation talk. I'm talking about a real shift in your life path. A divine release of resource-off opportunities, money, support, even clarity coming directly to you. Not because you earned it through pain, but because you're now aligned enough to let it in. This is what I call a sacred payout. During this window, October 6th through 8th, you'll feel it. That's not just astrology, though the stars are lining up. That's energetic truth. That's cosmic timing. You've crossed a personal threshold, Leo. You've graduated from survival mode, and now life is finally starting to meet you at your new frequency. So take a breath. Not the rushed one. A deep, grounded one. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk with you through this energy. Not as a guru, not from a pedestal, but as someone who's also walked through fire and knows what it's like to wait for something that seems like it may never arrive. I know how hard it is to keep believing when nothing around you changes. But right now, something is changing. And if you stay with me, I stay going to understand exactly what's happening and how to step into it fully, without resistance, without fear. You don't have to chase anymore. You just have to receive what's already been assigned to you. Let that sink in. What's coming is already yours. And yes, I'll say it again because sometimes we need to hear it more than once. This payout is divine. It's not a reward, it's a return. A return on everything you've poured out when no one was watching. Now, before we move into what the stars and cards are revealing for this powerful period, I want to take a moment to thank you. Your presence here matters. Every comment you leave, every time you like or share a video, every subscription, it's not just digital support. It's energetic fuel. It tells this space that you believe in sacred timing and soul alignment. And that belief creates more room for these messages to reach the people who need them. If something is stirring in you right now, if your heart feels even slightly more open than it did a minute ago, take a second and leave a comment below with the number 888. That's not just a number, it's a signal to your higher self. It's a declaration that you're ready. So Leo, tell me, what brought you here today? What part of you knew it was finally time to receive? Stay with me. What the universe is about to reveal is nothing short of extraordinary. Leo, let's take a breath here, not the kind you take when you're bracing yourself, but the kind that says, I'm finally ready to stop carrying what's not mine. You've been walking a long road, maybe longer than even you realized. And this moment we're in right now is not about doing more, proving more, or hustling harder. It's about releasing. About opening. About finally letting in what has been circling you for years, quietly waiting for you to believe you're worthy of receiving it. When I say, don't worry, I don't mean it in the casual, dismissive way people toss around to avoid discomfort. I mean it as a spiritual truth rooted in deep energetic law. Worry is often the shield we use to protect ourselves from disappointment. But here's the thing, you've already endured the waiting, the striving, the surviving. And what's trying to reach you now doesn't come through struggle, it flows through surrender. When we stop gripping so tightly, when we stop trying to force life to obey our timing, we create space for grace to move. This season of your life is not about you chasing money, opportunities, or approval. This is about them finding their way to you because you're finally still enough for them to land. You're not lost. You're not forgotten. In fact, you're more visible now to the flow of life than you've ever been. That's what this divine payout is. It's not a prize for pain. It's a natural return on your alignment, on your evolution, on the way you've slowly become more of who you really are. I want you to imagine yourself as a sun behind the clouds. Still shining. Still burning bright. But hidden for a while by circumstances, by fear, by all the noise the world throws at us. And then, one day, the clouds begin to thin. Not because you shouted them away, but because your light simply kept shining until the weather shifted. That's what this moment is. A clearing in the sky. A season where life no longer has to test you, it begins to trust you. And maybe this is the part where old beliefs try to rise up, the ones that say, it's not safe to hope, or, good things don't last, or, I don't deserve this unless I work myself to the edge. But those beliefs aren't yours anymore. They were inherited, maybe from parents who lived in survival mode, maybe from teachers or systems that rewarded burnout and sacrifice. But you, Leo, are here to break that. To embody a new story. This isn't about abandoning reality. It's about seeing reality through a different lens, one where your worth isn't measured by exhaustion, but by presence. Where you get to be supported not because you've earned it through suffering, but because you're allowing yourself to receive without resistance. You are not in competition for abundance. You are in alignment with it. Think of the money, the ideas, the people, the love, the vitality that wants to reach you like a river. Not something to chase, but something you let flow toward you by clearing the rocks of self-doubt, of tension, of not enough. You don't have to swim upstream anymore. That current is already moving in your favor. So when I say this divine payout is comminj, it's not wishful thinking. It's momentum. It's everything you've been quietly building in your inner world finally spilling into the outer. You are not behind. You are becoming. Let the light back in. You don't need permission. You only need to be present. If that stirs something in you, speak it. Write it. Declare it. Comment below to affirm that you're not chasing anamorary receiving. Say it in your own way. But say it. This is how we shift energy. This is how we claim what's already ours. And this, Leo, is exactly where it begins. Leo, if you've been feeling like something's building beneath the surface, like a change is about to break through but you can't quite name it, or not imagining things. That tension you feel isn't anxiety. It's the electricity of alignment. From October 6th to 8th, there's a powerful energetic shift at play, and it's not just theory, it's written in the stars. You are stepping into a rare astrological window, and it's designed to support exactly the kind of growth you've been quietly longing for: emotional healing, financial breakthrough, and a return to your own grounded sense of purpose. Right now, the Sun, your ruling celestial force, is forming a harmonious trine with Chiron in Aries. This isn't casual. This is cosmic choreography. The Sun represents your essence, your light, your will to shine. Chiron, often called the wounded healer, represents the parts of us that have been cracked open but now carry the wisdom of experience. When they align like this, it's like a door swings open inside your story. Not because you begged for it, but because you've earned the right to walk through it. You've been doing the inner work, whether consciously or not. And this is your chance to be supported while you act on it. What makes this alignment special is that it doesn't reward loud, external effort, it amplifies quiet readiness. This is the universe responding to your inner resilience. If you've been feeling called to try again, to put yourself back out there in business, in love, in creativity, this is your green light. Not a blaring horn, but a gentle nudge. A whisper that says, yes. Go now. You're supported. And then we have Venus moving through Virgo, bringing with her a different kind of blessing. Venus governs relationships, money, beauty, and values. But in Virgo, her energy isn't flashy, it's intentional, precise, discerning. This isn't a time for chasing fast success or superficial validation. It's about building wealth through honesty, through craft, through what feels true to who you are now, not who you had to be in the past. That means the opportunities coming your way might look quiet at first. They might show up in small, sincere forms: a conversation, an email, an idea in the middle of a walk. Don't dismiss them. Virgo teaches us that sustainable abundance often arrives through consistency and care, not chaos. This combination of cosmic support, your solar essence in harmony with deep healing, paired with Venus asking you to ground your value into action, creates the kind of moment that changes lives quietly but permanently. And that's what makes it easy to miss, especially for someone like you, Leo, who's used to fire and flare. But sometimes, the biggest shifts happen in the most grounded ways. You just have to pay attention. So let me ask you, have you noticed your intuition sharpening lately? Are you catching glimpses of what's possible before it even arrives? Have you been pulled to revisit an old dream or skill with fresh eyes? If so, that's not random. That's resonance. That's your energy syncing up with what's becoming available to you now. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let the universe know you're listening. This isn't the time to second-guess your instincts. It's the time to trust them like they've been waiting for you to wake up. Because they have. And right now, you're more connected than you realize. Let that truth settle in. Let it guide the steps you take this week. And know this, you're not just moving forward. You're moving toward alignment, and everything that's meant for you is already on its way. There's something deeply humbling about realizing that you don't have to fight so hard anymore. Not because life has suddenly become easy, but because the way you're relating to it is finally changing. After everything you've weathered, Leo, you're not in the business of proving your worth anymore. You're in the space of remembering it. And that's the subtle, yet powerful energy that both the Empress and the Strength card bring forward, two archetypes that seem different on the surface, but when brought together, create a force of nature that looks a lot like you. The Empress doesn't run. She doesn't chase. She doesn't perform to be seen. She's already the center of her own universe, and that's more than enough. Her abundance isn't loud. It's magnetic. It grows because she trusts her rhythm, her cycles, her timing. In practical terms, this means the things you've planted, efforts, intentions, emotional seeds, are now entering their harvest phase. Not because you pushed, but because you tended. And if it feels like things have been slow, stagnant, or buried beneath the surface, maybe that's because the soil of your life has been doing quiet work, deep work. Roots strengthening. Truth solidifying. And now the ground is finally ready to bloom. Paired with that is strength, your card, your signature. But not the kind of strength that comes from clenching your jaw or pushing through. This is the quieter kind. The one that takes trust. Emotional presence. Grace under pressure. In fact, the most powerful moment of this archetype isn't when the lion roars, it's when it lets itself be led gently by someone it trusts. The truth is, Leo, the lion doesn't need to dominate the jungle to be powerful. Sometimes, it just needs to rest, to breathe, to stop proving, and allow life to serve it, just as much as it has served others. When these two energies meet, the Empress and strength, it signals a shift in how abundance moves through you. You're no longer working for life. Life begins working with you. This is the energetic zone of sovereignty. Not control, not force, but resonance. This is when the world around you starts reflecting back what you've already begun to believe, that you are inherently worthy of support, comfort, beauty, and ease. Not because you've earned it by surviving, but because you've remembered that you never had to. This is a message that goes beyond just money or success. It's about embodiment. Are you embodying the version of yourself that no longer begs for what's already yours? Are you moving as if the life you want is already meeting you halfway? Because when you do, the energy around you changes. And not just in theory. Conversations shift. Doors open. Ideas clarify. The people who belong start to find you. And it all begins with how you hold yourself in the now. So the invitation isn't to push harder. It's to soften more. To stop auditioning for spaces you've already been divinely cast into. Let this season be the one where you let in what's already been circling your field for so long. You don't need to force what's next, you just need to allow it. And if that feels uncomfortable, good. That's the space where growth happens. Where trust gets activated. Where you stop repeating and start receiving. Let it be enough now. Let you be enough now. Because you are. And everything that's meant for you knows exactly where to find you. Sometimes, the universe speaks in numbers long before it speaks in words. And if you've been seeing 888 or even the number 13 showing up in odd places, receipts, clocks, street addresses, take a moment and pause. That's not just coincidence. That's frequency trying to get your attention. These aren't lucky numbers in the way you've been taught to believe, like some scratch-off ticket waiting to hit. These are energetic codes, subtle yet profound markers that something in your field is shifting. And more importantly, they're asking you to align your thoughts, your environment, and your presence with that shift. Let's start with 888. In numerology, 8 is the number of flow, material, emotional, and spiritual. Turn it sideways and it becomes the infinity symbol, reminding us that energy never ends, it only cycles. When you see 888, it means that a loop in your life is coming full circle, and this time, it's bringing a return. Money, support, love, recognition. But more than that, it's a signal that the version of you who once had to chase these things no longer has to. You've become magnetic. The energy of 888 asks you to drop the hustle, and instead, create space for what's been trying to find you. It's not coming because you've worked so hard. It's arriving because you've finally matched the vibration of receiving. Now let's talk about 13. A number that often gets misunderstood or feared, yet in tarot, it's the number of the death card. Not literal death but transformation. The kind that takes something away not to punish you, but to prepare you. The kind that clears the path so something more honest can grow in its place. When 13 shows up during a week like this paired with 888, it's often a sign that the release you're experiencing is sacred. Letting go isn't failure. It's fertilizing the soil for a deeper root. Whatever ends this week, even if it stings a little, is only ending because it can't carry you into what's next. So what can you do with this? This is where energy turns into embodiment. Color is one of the fastest ways to shift our frequency because it bypasses logic and speaks directly to our subconscious. This week, there are 3 main color vibrations calling your name, each one tied to a different part of your energetic system, each one holding a specific key to unlock what's stuck. Wearing or surrounding yourself with vibrant gold or copper orange lights up your solar plexus, the center of confidence, willpower, and financial power. It tells the universe, I'm not hiding anymore. I know who I am, and I'm ready to lead with it. Soft ivory or silver hues calm your field and open you to inspired ideas. These colors help quiet the mental noise and restore a sense of trust in your timing. They're especially powerful when you've been overthinking, doubting, or needing reassurance that you're not alone in this journey. Then there's sage green, muted, earthy, and deeply grounding. It works gently to release financial fears, scarcity programming, and old survival wounds. You don't need to burn through your energy to prove you're ready for abundance. You just need to remember that you are already enough, and sage tones help stabilize that truth in your body. Try this today. Choose one of these colors. Wear it, carry it, place it somewhere meaningful. Let it be a signal not just to the universe, but to yourself that you're present, you're listening, and you're open. This may seem small, but energy responds to small consistent signals. You're not waiting anymore. You're participating. And if you've already felt a shift while listening, even a slight opening in your chest or clarity in your thoughts, write it down. Speak it aloud. Or drop the number 888 in the comments to declare that you're aligned with what's unfolding. These small moments, they're how transformation begins. Quietly, then all at once. It's one thing to hear that abundance is coming. It's another to let it in. And that's where most people hesitate, not because they don't believe, but because they're not sure how to prepare themselves to actually receive. It's like being told a blessing is knocking, but you're still rushing to clean the house before opening the door. Leo, this week from October 6th to 8th, you don't need to prepare by doing more, you need to align by being more present, more open, and more intentional in your everyday actions. Start with your mornings. Before your mind rushes into the noise of the day, place one sentence into your breath. I am a soul worthy of divine financial flow. I do not chase, I attract. You don't have to overthink this. Whisper it. Write it. Speak it in the mirror. Let it land inside you, because words carry frequency, and frequency shapes reality. When you affirm your worth, not to the world but to yourself, you begin vibrating at the level of what you're ready to receive. And trust me, that's what makes all the difference. But alignment isn't just energy, it's also practical. You can't pour from an empty cup, and the universe knows that. So let's talk about your body. Are you caring for it like it's the vessel that's about to hold more? Simple choices like adding warm, grounding foods, staying hydrated, getting outside light in the morning, or just allowing yourself to rest earlier than usual can reset your nervous system in powerful ways. The message is, prepare your body for peace, not just for productivity. In your work, give yourself permission to release the pressure of being enough. Productivity without purpose is just performance. What if you let go of the need to do more and instead asked, what would feel aligned today? That's where you'll find the spark that not only fuels you but draws opportunity to you. Remember, Venus in Virgo right now is rewarding what's real, what's intentional, what's rooted in value, not what looks good on paper. Emotionally, some of you may feel a pull toward reconnection with someone from the past, with a version of yourself that once felt more alive, or even with a dream you shelved because life got heavy. Don't ignore that pull. Sometimes, abundance shows up in the form of restoration. Sometimes the heart has to open before the bank account can. Give yourself a soft space to love again, even if that love is just extending grace to yourself. Let's bring it into action now. If you're ready to work with the law of attraction, don't overcomplicate it. Write down one thing you want to receive in the next 72 hours. Just one. It could be a sign, a solution, an opportunity, or even clarity. Now here's the key: thank it before it arrives. Gratitude in advance collapses the space between wanting and receiving. It tells the universe, I trust you. I trust myself. And then take one small action in alignment with that request. Just one. Nothing big. Energy doesn't need drama, it needs direction. And if something has already shifted for you during this time, maybe a number you keep seeing, a dream that woke you up, or a chance encounter that stirred something in you, didn't keep it to yourself. Leave it in the comments. Share it. Not just for validation, but because when we witness each other's signs, we amplify them. Energy multiplies when it's shared, and sometimes, what you say out loud becomes the very thing someone else needed to hear to keep going. This isn't just about attracting money. It's about stepping into the version of you that knows how to hold it. With calm. With clarity. With confidence. And that version of you? They're not far off. They're already on the rise. If you've made it this far, take a moment just to breathe in what's been unfolding here. Let it land. Not in your mind, but in your body. Let it settle in your chest like a quiet knowing. You're not here by accident. And what's been spoken in this space wasn't just information, it was confirmation. A reminder that what you've been hoping for, waiting for, quietly praying for, has already started its journey toward you. The divine payout is real. And more than that, you are worthy of receiving it, not someday, not when you've checked every box, but now. You no longer have to hustle to be seen or chase something that was never meant to be out of reach in the first place. The universe is not testing you, Anna Marie, it's trusting you. With more, with better, with what actually belongs to you. But the question is, will you allow it? Will you soften just enough to receive without guilt or hesitation? Will you speak what you desire without shrinking it down to make others comfortable? Will you walk as if the things you asked for are already on their way? This is the moment where your energy shifts from wanting to welcoming. Where your life stops being a to-do list and starts becoming a space where alignment can breathe. So ask yourself honestly, what would it look like if I believed I was truly supported? What would I stop doing? What would I finally say yes to? Transformation isn't loud. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to no longer carry what was never yours. Sometimes it's the brave choice to celebrate yourself before the world catches up. And sometimes, it's as simple as choosing to believe that you're no longer stuck, you're simply being redirected to something far more aligned with your soul. So now, I ask you, what is the one thing you're ready to release to make space for what's next? And just as important, what are you ready to finally claim? Let this be the moment you move from hesitation into intention. If any part of this message stirred something within you, if it gave you a little more clarity, a little more hope, a little more courage, then anchor that shift by commenting 888 below. It's not just a number. It's a frequency. A prayer. A yes. And if you found value in this, I'd be deeply honored if you would like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness. Every small act of support fuels this sacred space, and helps us bring more truth, more light, and more healing to others just like you. So tell me, what opened in you today? What realization arrived gently but powerfully? I'd love to hear your story. And more than that, I want to thank you truly for being here. For listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. The light you carry is not waiting for permission. It's ready to rise. Let it.